Here we go. We are live on only the YouTube from Hamilton in North Carolina.
North Carolina, baby.
We have a big, heavy North Carolina show tonight, folks. So buckle up, buckle up.
We do a lot of things happening in North Carolina right now.
Ray
wishes he was back home.
Ray was the first one in. Purple Haze says, let's go. I did not get to jump in with the Purple Haze tonight. I was delayed.
If I said anything, she'd just be like, whatever, because I'm never anywhere. So at least you show up.
I do.
I feel like you're the representative of both of us.
I'm like a bad weed. I'm everywhere and you can't get rid of me. I'm like fungus. I'm there. I'm everywhere. You just can't get rid of me. And or a cockroach. Just when you think you have, I scurry back into your life.
That was probably your favorite character in WALL-E, wasn't it? The cockroach.
Happy St. Patrick's Day for those that celebrate.
Did you say St. Valentine's?
You know where we are. For those that celebrate. I am -% Irish, so I don't care. Although I got the green pajamas on, so. You
know what, Jeff? I spent some time in Ireland last year, so I feel like I have to celebrate it.
There you go. Apparently, Holtz is very upset that he did not get to have a drink with you in Liverpool. Apparently, it's all he keeps talking about, and that how he was in Canada and he missed his chance to see Bruce. So, yeah.
You know, when we traveled the world, people have to speak up. You know, because it's not like I wasn't talking about it.
So there you go.
Exactly. Jeff, it has been so nice here this weekend. It was 72 yesterday and 71 today. So what is that for you? 20?
No.
28? No?
What
is it for you?
28.
I don't know the Celsius conversion. After however many times you've told it to me, I still don't know it.
That's all right. Late teens.
Late teens. What would 28 be, like 100?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was 100. Felt like it. We've been outside working all weekend, and definitely need to get this dad bod back going because it was a struggle working in the heat.
The other day, it was almost 20 of my degrees, about the same, and then it's dropped down till about 30-ish, 35, wow. 7, 8 of your degrees here this weekend.
Are you getting that big freeze that's coming through this weekend or this week? Okay, maybe not then. We're getting a big freeze tomorrow. It's going to be below freezing tomorrow night. So they're all talking about
it's going to be in the 60s. Big freeze is going to be in the 60s.
No, it's going to be below freezing, so it'll be like 30. But of course, because it's been so warm, everybody's been outside planting all of their, spring plantings, and now we're going to get this freeze. So they're warning everybody to cover their spring plantings.
They tell us here, wait until the temperature is consistently above 10 degrees Celsius. Before you start hacking and stuff, because there's a lot of bugs and there's a lot of birds and a lot of stuff that like the stuff early on before. So you're just destroying the ecosystem. So that's what they tell us here. Ray often will complain about the temperature to like someone like an SPG, and he goes, "Oh my God, it's so cold. It's 60." And SPG and Sierra are like, yeah,
sitting in 60 feet of snow.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, Ray, your heart done by, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How was your week? How did all the gaming go?
It was good. Although Wednesday night everybody abandoned me, but whatever. It was good. We finally got a win in Call to Arms, so that was good. We got off the Schneid. So that was good. And
you will Ray Crow, same foursome.
Yep. And then Wednesday night, we had a TikTok friend join us, and we did Skull and Bones, and we got Will the scales that he needed to complete his big ship. So he went and he's got his now the biggest and bestest ship available. And then I was doing some SNES games Friday night, and then last night I played a new game, Vindictus Dying Fate, which was a play test because it's not out yet. It's coming out later this year. This was just a play test. And Paul Bayram, he went and downloaded the free play test, and a couple of TikTokers downloaded the free play test. So we were chitter chatting about that. So it was pretty cool.
So amazing how fast a group can come together if you have common interest.
People are like, what is this game? And so I'm telling them, and I'm like, it's a free play test. They're like, what is it? Let's go. So yeah, and then other people were popping into the TikTok stream like, what is this? And then I wasn't able to get typed fast enough, but other guys in the chat were. We discovered, because I hadn't tried it, links don't work. I kept sending links. They're like, no. I don't see it. I don't see anything. So I'm like, here, there's the name. Go Google it. So the other guys were filling in some of the chat for me when people were jumping. What game is this? What game is this? So it was, it looked really. It's just your typical Souls type game.
You were telling me about last Epoch. Epoch.
I have not gotten back to that. I have because every fair I keep playing Robin Hood. I've always been a big Robin Hood fan, and I'm out there and I'm upgrading my village and I'm out killing people and I'm robbing from the poor and giving it to the rich. It is I've got the different DLC for robbing from the poor to give to the because I'm pro rich. So I'm pro rich.
I was looking into I forget what I was looking into the other day, but I was reading one of the comments. The guy, it was something that was down. I think I was looking into the Bally Sports app or something. The guy was like, "Bally Sports is down again. Back to the last Epoch." And I was like, "That's that game Jeff played, wasn't it?" So,
I've got a backlog of games that I'm supposed to play, and it's stressing me out. And then so
I haven't played anything other than Rocket League in the past month. So
I have found a cool hack for leveling up very quickly in the Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You and Crow robbing from the rich and stealing from the poor?
No, Crow gave up on that game. We played a little bit because Lego Fortnite was kind of fun and at whatever in the beginning, but now it's kind of but yeah.
That was my fear.
They came out with the new update came out. The new update is amazing. The new season, it's got a great little story. It's all about Greek gods.
The Greek gods.
Yeah, it's all about the Greek gods. See, if you don't know your Greek gods, then
I think I saw a clip of it, at least what I believe was a clip of it, and the person with the wings was spinning in the air and diving down or something.
Yeah,
it almost looked to me.
Yeah, I have those. Yeah, I did a clip of those. Yeah.
Okay, and it almost looked. What was that game on Stadia that they did? They did a demo of the game.
I got nothing.
It is a Ubisoft game.
I got nothing. Where's Ron Slusher? Ron Slusher is our resident Stadia historian.
They had done a free play of the first level or something on Stadia, and I can't think of the name of the damn game.
I got nothing.
All right.
I don't know if I don't know if I like the wings or Zeus's lightning bolt. I'm not sure which I like better. Both are high powered. And you can equip them multiple times. Usually if you have a weapon, you can only equip that weapon once. But with the wings and with the lightning bolt, you can equip them multiple times. Oh, it's excellent. So.
I'm looking up this game. It's going to drive me crazy.
So. And then.
That's good.
Tuesday. So this is going to be a heavy stream week. Big heavy stream week. Tuesday. MLB The Show 24 launches on the Game Pass. Had the chance to play it early, but just turned it down because I just had negative time to be able to play it early. And I said, I've already got it scheduled for Tuesday. I'm just going to stick to the schedule on Tuesday. I just didn't have time.
It was Immortals Phoenix Rising, Jeff.
Oh, there you go. I didn't play it.
Do you remember that game?
It sounds familiar. I never played it.
Okay.
Sorry.
I had to figure that out.
That's right. So Tuesday night, I'm doing a special MLB The Show stream.
Nice.
Last year, I did a whole series where I played through the entire season as a minor leaguer, but never got around to it. Never actually always meant to get back and play the Negro League, but I never did.
That's out Tuesday.
Yeah, it's early release.
Okay.
If you buy it early, you can. You know how you buy the deluxe, you can buy 3 days early and whatever. So I saw some people playing it.
Female players now.
They do. They have female players. Yeah.
And there's supposed to be some new storylines that go along with your career mode. I saw.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, I'm catching back up to what you were talking about after I was looking for that game name.
So, so I had the chance to play it on the weekend. I just had negative time. I already said I was going to do this play test, and I had some other stuff that I wanted to record, which I never did. So I'm quite behind. So I already had it scheduled for Tuesday. So I'm like, thanks. Remember me next year, San Diego Studios. Remember me next year. But I got a feeling now that I've
San Diego West Coast.
Now
who else is on the West Coast is Crow Resin. Did you talk to Crow Resin a lot this week?
The standard amount, sure.
I talked to Crow Resin quite a bit this week.
Monday, Wednesday on stream.
Yeah, Crow was he was a little taken back by the Palace news last week that we shared.
He was a little upset that there was so much of it, and then it captivated the world this week.
It captivated Crow Resin's world, that's for sure.
It captivated a lot of people's world. Did you hear John Oliver? They asked John Oliver about it, and he said there is a less than 0 chance she's still alive, or something. He figures they're weakened at burying her.
I mean, it's a little strange, right? It's a little strange. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that are brewing from
she's dead. She's
love
divorced.
out of wedlock. There was a problem with the surgery, just all kinds of stuff that is being said right now. And apparently these little notes keep coming out, or these little like insiders, like, oh, she says she's okay. I'm not following it as closely as I was back last week, but it is just weird. It's weird that there's just nothing to say about it from anybody of importance,
I just said, why doesn't she just walk out the front door and go, "Hi, I'm here"? And maybe,
y'all, just leave me alone. I just want my privacy.
Maybe if she's got her favorite reporter, a little softball question, and then go, and then her people can go, "Okay, that's it, folks," and then usher her back in. Yeah. But other people in this house who may have worked for people, they're like, leave her alone. She doesn't have to. Blah 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 blah.
Not to get too personal there, but is it bringing back Diana vibes of its handling, like just the way?
I don't know. I never thought about that.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
But it's just like just leave them alone. Let them do their thing. If she's if she's having health issues, let her have health issues. If she's whatever.
If it's a marital problem, let them figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if she's dead, she's dead. If she's, filing for divorce, she's filing for divorce. If she's, growing wings and flying away, whatever. But just remember, when we talk about it here on Sunday night, the next day it blows up. It becomes a story. Yeah. That's what you got to remember.
It's just crazy that people that really have no bearing on us can impact our attention so much. Like you have no authority or legality of authority over me, but I'm interested in wanting to know what's going on.
It's Sunday night now. It's kind of died off toward the end of the week. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was like a period. Now it's just kind of everyone's attention now is on Russia. Shout out to Putin. Congratulations to Putin. Narrowly squeaking out a victory. I'm glad Jim and Crow are here. If Jim and Crow were here, they would be downvoting and unsubscribing. Hopefully.
What I was going to say was that there's a lot of stuff to talk about in there from his speech afterwards, because he was talking about the American elections and how you can pay $10 for a ballot that you can mail in. And, there were a couple of other comments in there that were like, It never ceases to amaze me how these topics come up in an election year.
I was watching basketball.
Oh man, the things you see online when you're trying to put this show together. Which, by the way, we are here to do. So how about we get
her going? Get her going.
All right. Sounds good. I got to bring this up. That's on me. My bad. All righty then.
Episode number 56.
Episode 56. 56 for those keeping track at home. Wondershare. We didn't talk about Wondershare there. You said you have a lot of videos to make, so I know you have a backlog of videos, like a backlog of
that I do. But, that I do.
You will definitely be using Wondershare.
You know what? Every time I boot it up, there's a new update, and in that update, they're like, "Hey, we've added more AI features."
Mm-hmm. The AI updates are crazy.
Can't even keep up with all of the, here, give us some text and we'll make you a video and do this and we'll do that. And they're running an AI video contest, which I probably should enter. I got an email from them saying, hey, you should enter this. So I probably should look into that at some point. And it's like, So.
Well, this week we're going to talk about March Madness because that is the biggest story of the weekend. All of that wrapping up and coming together. We got a new place to bet on sports, Jeff. We've talked about it before. We're going to talk about it again. And then a little discussion around, could a 32-hour work week work? Could it work to work 32 hours in a week and be paid the same, might I add? Post of the week, did you hear about, and you've got the 5 guesses for me today, but we're not going to talk about...
all of the quarterbacks that are not on the same team as they were last week.
There's a lot of them.
There is a lot of quarterbacks that last week when we did the show were on a team. This week, they're on a completely different team.
It's almost going to be a whole different league next year from that standpoint, you know?
Yep.
Anyway, we're not going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about the Leafs and that other team, whatever team they blew the lead with.
This is the color shirt your team was wearing, by the way. What is that about?
What?
Is that like an original jersey for the Maple Leafs? They had like Celtics jerseys or something on. There was like a clover.
Probably. I didn't notice. Probably St. Patrick's Day.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Never mind. All right.
Probably.
Carry on.
We're not going to talk about Mr. Prescott and any police investigation. And I guess we're also not going to talk about that little rematch you're having down there in the election.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there's going to be enough talk about that over the next couple of months. We don't need to do it today.
No.
All right, March Madness is up first. Here is the men's bracket as it was all filled out. You've got UConn, you've got Houston, you've got Purdue, and you've got UNC fresh off of that amazing ACC championship lost. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But those are your 4 number ones. A couple of kind of cool stories unfolded as they usually do.
Lots of cool stories.
Well, you know, we've got that
I don't see our friend in there from last week. Our little basketball friend from last week.
Oh, our little basketball friend from last week. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
Hey, we got
Virginia.
Kate right. We can't get them all correct.
That's right. That is true. UVA. Okay. UVA at one point in time was the number 1 collegiate team, collegiate program in the country. Okay. They were setting records in the amounts of games that they were keeping their opponents to. I mean, their defense was just, it was rivaled, right? And this year they're in the first 4. So just, sometimes when you're at the top, you got to know it's not going to be like that for long because those recruitment cycles, they come around every 4 years, right? Every 3 years, 2 years, depending on what kind of school you are and how many one and dones you're pushing. We're not going to go through all of the matchups, Jeff, because it would take a whole show to sit here and talk through all of these. But I know you had told me beforehand that you've got a Final Four in mind. So what are you thinking?
I do, but before I get to that, a couple of things I want to point out. A couple of teams that I'm high on. Not going to make it to Final Four, but it'll be interesting in this first round. James Madison, Drake, Grand Canyon, Clemson. I could all see making the Sweet 16. Zags versus McNeese. Got McNeese thinking going to the Sweet 16. I haven't filled it all out yet, but they, Kansas has a lot of injuries, so I see an upset with Stanford. Just those are just some. Maybe St. Peter's is back again. They were the darlings a couple of years ago. They're back, so they could do a little damage. They could, upset maybe. So those are some of my initial thoughts. In terms of Final Four and Final Two, I'm going with Arizona and Purdue losing in the Final Four to UConn and Houston. Ultimately, Purple's friend Mac is not gonna, Purple's friend Mac is not gonna win his bet. UConn will repeat. I think they're the best team in the country. They are just too strong.
Okay.
Those are my thoughts.
UConn was the only one of the 4 number ones to win their conference championship, right? Houston lost in stunning fashion. It was like a 20-point loss or something like that.
Stunning. Yeah, but they're going to rebound.
Purdue lost, right? And then UNC, of course, lost to NC State. So I've been not following college hoops as much this year as I normally do. Life, I'm just going to throw it out there. It's life. But when I have checked in, I've been impressed by a few of the teams on here. In the East, one of those teams is Illinois. So I'm going to have Illinois as my team from the East. In the South, I don't think NC State is going to make it past that first round against Texas Tech, even though they are the ACC champs. But in the South there, I am going to take Houston. And then in the West, I do like Arizona. So I agree with you there on Arizona. They've been a phenomenal team this year. And then over in the Midwest, it was, what was my one there? Wasn't Purdue.
Tennessee could make a run.
I'm going to go ahead, and I don't think that they've ever made it that far before, but I'm going to go ahead and say Creighton. I'm going to go. So a few little sleepers there. I am going to go Houston in the final, and I'm going to go Houston against Illinois in the final. I think Illinois. I like Illinois a lot, so I'm gonna put my money behind them.
I'm just looking here.
Yeah.
I'm just looking.
Yeah, there's a couple of teams in here that I think that they got some bad matchups, right?
So you think Illinois is going to be able to knock off UConn? Interesting.
Okay. All right. It's happened before.
I don't disagree with you. They're the defending champs. They're the best team in the country. Are they ripe to be fallen? All right. Okay. Crow Resin is here.
Crow.
Okay.
So we've got good stuff going on the men's side, but we've talked about several times on this show. There is a whole nother tournament going on as well over on the women's side. And there's some big matchups that we're not going to get to see in the Final Four or possibly the national championship game. And one of those is going to be a rematch of Iowa and LSU because they're both in that Albany 2 bracket. So if they do get the chance to play each other, it's going to be in the Elite 8, right? Elite 8. So that will be a bummer. And then if LSU was to get through to the Final Four, They would get to play South Carolina in the championship, and that's after that little scuffle last week that we talked about and showed. That's kind of the matchup everybody wants. So
right,
it won't be a rematch of last year's, but you might get South Carolina versus LSU. So
I would like to see Caitlin win it all on her way out.
I think regardless, this is going to be the most watched women's tournament.
100%. Because last year was the most watched ever. And it's only gotten bigger since.
And there's only more hype.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, my daughter and my wife are talking about this. Like, they know all about basketball. So, and I don't mean any disrespect to my wife or my daughter, but you know, they've just never had a passion for basketball or basketball players. So what this is doing right now has grabbed their attention. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yep.
So we'll have a lot of college basketball to talk about over the next couple of weeks. Did mention the ACC champion NC State Wolfpack. So right up the road from me in Raleigh, North Carolina, the NC State Wolfpack. I have met Coach Keats. I used to work in downtown, and he used to, when he got the job, he used to bring some of the recruits in to where I worked. And, you know, that was kind of their final stop, meet the coaches. Derek Wittenberg, I've talked with him many times in person. If you know who Derek Wittenberg is, he was the one in '83 championship. He threw up the final lob from half court that he says was a pass. He will tell you it was a pass, but I'm telling you it was an attempt at a shot and it was an air ball. And I told him that to his face.
Okay.
So, you know, let's just call it what it is.
And that's why Ryzak got beat up, but okay.
I tell you what, he's a hell of a golfer. He's a mean golfer, man. Let me tell you. And so NC State, they went in as the 10 seed. What were they? 7 seed? 7 seed. I think they were the 7 seed. And they won 5 straight games, right? They beat Syracuse first. Then they beat Duke. Then they beat Florida State, Virginia, Florida State, and then topped off UNC. So 5 straight wins to win the ACC tournament, knocked off all of the big dogs. All right. They were led by this mountain of a man who got the all-tournament first team MVP, Burns Jr. I was reading some tweets about him before the show, Jeff, people talking about how he could probably be an NFL lineman if he added a little muscle into his legs because he's already about 20 pounds away from being one of those prime offensive linemen. His touch around the rim, his passing, he was doing things in that game that I don't believe people his size should be doing. I mean, he looked so much fun to play with. I would have loved to have played with him. The way that he holds the ball, I mean, he looks so tiny in his hands. So good call there. Sorry, I'm just giving a shout out to my local NC State Wolfpack. And then checked out that stat. You laughed at that one.
I did.
5-0 at Capital One Arena in DC, where the Washington Wizards are 4-26 this year. Maybe NC State should play the Wizards, and then let's just settle it once and for all.
That'd be fun.
So, something else that was exciting. You said we were heavy in North Carolina talk.
I did say that.
This tweet here is from DraftKings. DraftKings is one of 8 apps that can now be used to place bets on sports in North Carolina. So on March the 11th at midnight, you were allowed to legally place bets on sporting matches in North Carolina. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. You have to be in North Carolina. So, Jeff, you cannot download the app and place a bet in North Carolina from Canada, right?
Do I have to be a resident?
You do not have to be a resident. You just
have to be an American resident.
That you might have to be, yes.
Oh, okay.
You might have to be American.
Okay. So if I can't
on like a visa, I don't see why you couldn't, right?
I don't know
that. That I don't know.
Okay.
So I shouldn't speak to that.
Okay. See, here in Ontario, you have to be a Canadian resident. You have to be a resident of Ontario and that's not just gambling. That's the hospital, the hospital ones where you can win a car or a house or whatever. They have those charity one. Again, got to be a resident of Ontario or wherever it's taken place. I have a lot of clients that do that kind of stuff. I can't buy a ticket. I could buy a ticket, but I can't win. Right.
I just read. Hey, squids! You see squids? What up, squids?
I did see squids.
What's going on, buddy?
Did see squids. Squids has been like screaming. Squids has been screaming like around the clock. Every time I put on YouTube, there's squids streaming something else. The thing's just around the clock. And Crow's going to rewind and skip all the.
The NC State news.
So
here's Roy's
so I like how your governor was out promoting his state stuff.
So this is Roy Cooper. This is the governor of North Carolina. He resides right up the road from me in Raleigh, which is our state capital. For those that think Charlotte is the state capital, it's not. It's Raleigh. Okay.
Okay. All right.
He's a big Canes fan. He's a big sports fan. So he made this little video. He put it together to announce that the betting was good to go. This just came out the other day. Remember, he's the one that signed the bill. He's the one that approved of this to happen. So cool to see, your governor, politics aside, cool to see your governor support the things, for your state, support your local things. And by what I'm talking about right now is like the teams, right? He's very invested in the teams. He's very invested in knowing what they bring to the area, right? And so as you've listened to people talk about the betting, that's one of the things that they keep pointing to is like trying to make it more fun. We're trying to bring in more revenue. We're trying to help people, possibly win themselves, right? And then the one thing I always take from this is at the very end of this video, right? He says sports betting is open with his voice, but then the words pop up and it says bet responsibly.
Sure.
When you go to Vegas, when you go anywhere, you see all those hotlines for like, you got a gambling problem, or you a gambling addict, this and that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that really bothers me about this is that I know that this is going to ruin some people's lives that do not know what they're doing. Right. That's one of the reasons why I don't bet is because I don't want to play chance, but there's people and I believe that you are one of them that really understand what to bet, how to bet. You look at different things from that side. And so you might lose some, but you're probably going to win some.
I would never count cards. So again, politics aside, your governor, your state representatives, same here with our provincial representatives, our premiers, which are the equivalent to your governors, they should be the champion of your state. They should be the head cheerleader, right? Yeah. So whether it's bringing a baseball team, whether it's bringing an NHL team, could Gavin Newsom in California do more to have kept the Oakland teams in Oakland as opposed to them moving to Vegas? Right. So, the head of the state should be the head cheerleader. That's one of their jobs, cheering for the state, right? Doing, what it should be. And does everybody do that, Ryzak?
Well, it depends on how you want to look at it, right? Because here is a governor, Kristi Noem. I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Sure.
And she is being sued over her video for Smile Texas, right? So it says here it's a nonprofit that focuses on travel and consumer protection. So she's the South Dakota governor, but doing videos for a Texas affiliation. And so there's a lot of people that are very upset by this because, to like you just said, you want your elected official, keep it in-house.
you're again, I don't know South Dakota. I know a little bit about North Dakota, but you're telling me that there is no good teeth people in North Dakota or in South Dakota, excuse me. She had to go, and I don't know how far South Dakota is from Texas. So
I know a couple people that live in South Dakota.
My U.S. geography sucks. But yeah.
I know a couple people in South Dakota.
Oh, do you? I do not.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in South Dakota.
Isn't there like 4 heads on a mountain in South Dakota?
Couldn't tell you.
You said I'm terrible with your geography. That makes 2 of us.
Oh,
that makes 2 of us.
Couldn't tell.
All right. Well, politics are kind of running heavy here, even though we're not talking about the presidential debate, because Bernie Sanders, a lot of people know and love Bernie. He ran for president a couple of times, and he's up there in Vermont. He's been a big advocate for some things.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Purple Haze. Correction. There are no people in Dakota. Just ridiculous to have 2 states where it's really just one.
Oh.
That's like Virginia and West Virginia, right? North Carolina, South Carolina.
Mm.
So I guess that's all the same. So Bernie Sanders is
it's good that Crow and Purple are here. I'd love to know their opinions on this.
I would love to as well, yes, because he's introducing a bill to Congress to establish a 4-day work week. So 32-hour work week, no loss in pay. So if you make $50,000 a year and work 40 hours a week, you're going to make $50,000 and work 32 hours a week. I think that's awesome. I know there's a lot of countries in the world that already do this, but B, there's a reason why statistically Americans work more than people in other countries. If we don't work those 40 hours, what's going to happen to our production, or what's going to happen to our availability on things, stuff like that? So I pose this question to you, Jeff, not only as a business owner, as an employee at some point in your life, but also as a Canadian, right? Do you think a 32-hour work week would work in America?
I never read the bill. I sent it to you. I'll let you and Crow and Purple debate this. Crow had a good point when I sent it to him. That's great if you're full-time like you, but what about part-time people? Right? What about if you're part-time, 32 hours, that if you're only making, I don't know what the minimum wage is, 16 something here, but what is it, like 7 something in the US? $8, 10. Let's call it.
Areas it's 15 now.
Is it okay? So let's call it 15 then. If you're chopping 8 hours off the work, if you're getting paid, you're probably still going to want to work. If you're getting paid by the hour, you're still going to want to work more hours to make more money, right?
Because hourly people, 32 would be part-time.
Yeah. So, and I think here it's 37 and a half technically. I know a lot of people work 40 and they say 40, but I think it's technically like, because you got your lunch break, and people will say, I just work at my desk. I have lunch at my desk. And for the most part, people do.
Yeah.
But I think it's like 37 and a half. Like when I used to have a real job before I ran my own company, even with the company, the hours, it's 37 and a half hours. And, sometimes they put in 37, sometimes they put in 39 or 40, depending on what project they're working on and whatnot. Right. So, I don't know. So would this fly in Canada? And the one thing I think it says in there, is it on this or something else I looked at? It's like people just want to work less and get paid more.
Well, it says right here that an important step towards ensuring that workers share in the massive increase in productivity driven by artificial intelligence, automation, and new technology. So he's basically saying that, with the advances that we have and some of the things that can help us do what we do, we can pull back a little bit to help keep our people fresh, help keep them in a good mental space, help give them more time with their families, help them enjoy more time that they work so hard for, because we have these ways now that we can do some of these tasks.
So Crow says
that my job is pushing AI hard. Okay. They want us to use it. They want us to use it to write emails. They want us to use it to, create spreadsheets, create templates. I use it already to help me draft speeches for what I do for work, right? Through some of the software. Then they're going to, they just put out a thing to where if you use it, the prompt correctly, if you at the company tag and you ask it a question, it'll search the website, right? Like the main website, and find that information for you. They're also going to be doing that same feature for the back end. So all of the historical data that's saved in the cloud and stuff. So like you'd be able to say in 1998, you know, at this address, how many offices were cleaned on this day? And it would be able to pop it up for you in 20 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy what they're asking us to do to put into it. So if you're asking me to help do that, should I be getting some of that time back? Is this a good point?
Crow says a third 2-hour work will only happen if the unions get on board. They and Henry Ford are the reasons we have an 8-hour workday now. Of course, it used to be 12 hours before that. So.
Yep. Well, it's all that manufacturing, right? They had
Crow's
too many people that died, and they had to do something about it.
So Crow's office is pushing AI higher too. They just gave us a paper.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Ours created their own language. So like it's basically Chat GPT, but it's our company GPT.
Yeah, they built
they're doing their own language model.
Their own language model, LLM, large language model. So when you hear people talking about, you know, programmers, you know, they're still always going to need programs because they program the AI. Well, that's not how AI works. Right? It goes and it searches and it builds its own models based on what it finds. There isn't somebody coding the AI. So people who say that just don't know what the hell AI is.
You know, we actually have a little foreshadowing here. We have a little story about this in a little bit to share. So maybe we'll talk about it more then.
Maybe.
I think that this is going to be that same old debate too around like marijuana. All right. You know, they've pushed for you know, the legalization of marijuana. And one of the pushbacks always is like that laziness and that like, what if people are doing it at work, yada, yada, yada. Right. So it's going to kind of fall into a bucket of thought just like that, I believe, where it's that productivity. Is that productivity going to change? Because even though there is this big push in AI, there's still so many jobs that we really need to have people do. And you can't just say, hey, if you work in this sector, you get to be paid full time and work 32 hours. But if you work in this sector, nope, you got to do it the exact same way you've been doing it. It's not going to work like that. So I like Crow's point about the unions getting involved, because that's really who has helped kind of mold a lot of the rules that we have in place, because that's where most of the fatalities and the accidents happen. Right. So it's a good point.
People who claim we'll lose jobs because we need programs don't understand AI, neural networks, all that kind of good stuff. Very true. Yep. It's all true. I hear it every day.
Well,
anyways, well, we'll see. We'll see if this actually
it's not going away. You know, it's going to keep being a topic for us here. AI, I mean,
and people are just becoming more lazy, and they just want to do less work, and they want to be paid more to do less work, and they just want to sit around and game all day and get paid for it.
Well, we shared a video a couple of weeks ago of a young girl that was like having a breakdown, right? Because it's so hard to I can't even go out with my friends because I have to work so much, and then I have to drive home. And I'm seeing so many more of those videos we've gotten away from that. Yeah, it's crazy how many of our youth in like their 20s, whether they're doing it for clout to put on the internet or whatever, but I truly feel like there's a lot of people that are really struggling right now because of the times. At that age. They weren't set up for success, but they also have like a completely different mindset than probably you did at that age, and what I had at that age, and what my parents had at that age. You know, like it's just it's totally different. To your point, everybody's lazy and they want everything done for them, right? You mean you're not going to pay me $80,000 a year and let me work 4 hours a day from my home in my pajamas so I can just play all the time? Like that's what it sounds like.
They're too used to getting the participant ribbon. They grew up with that participant ribbon mentality where
it's a problem.
Everybody, you know, I used to have that argument with people like, oh, you came in second, no, they lost. So I used to always get in arguments with teams over, you know,
you ain't first, you're last, right? Did Ricky Bobby say that?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, you're first place of the losers. Oh no, we don't call that. No, that's what we are. They're losers. We lost. We got our butts kicked. We're losers. That's it. Don't give me no prize. I don't no prize because I just participated. No, I used to get in. Or that was when my kids were young, and they're now in their 20s. So, anyways, carrying on, moving on up.
Do you hunt?
Just women.
Oh. Like it. I like it. I have never actually hunted a live animal.
I hunt people that I control on the internet. Does that count?
That's a little weird, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I have killed an animal, and I have killed an animal with a weapon, but I wasn't hunting it. It was
in real life. I have not.
I was protecting my dog. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. And then maybe I took it a little too far, but I was 14. Just give me a break. In your neck of the woods,
I did. It's true.
It's bear season.
It is.
And so the bear reporting hotline has opened. And,
a little earlier than normal.
Is this also a hunting season for you?
Not yet, but it will be. Yeah.
There's no spring hunting season?
There is. It starts in April usually. I think it starts in April.
I didn't know if you have like bow hunting early.
And there's whole licensing. You got to have a license to fish, at least here in Ontario. So there's a lot of licensing and regulations. You just can't go out with your shotgun and just start shooting up the place, right? So there's, again, we have gun laws here.
Yeah. I've mentioned this a couple of times through my work communications and stuff, just how mild this year has been.
Yes.
I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know if it's a record, but just as me, I just didn't really feel like we had a winter, you know? You guys had snow. You always get snow, but it wasn't a winter.
Well, again, don't compare me and Bruce. Where I live, we didn't have very much. Yes, I bought the new snow pusher. I used it a couple of times. Did I have to? Would it have been easier just to use the shovel? Probably. Did I use it just because I had this stupid thing? Yes. As a guy who makes videos in the snow in bare feet, wasn't a lot of them as you saw or didn't saw. Now then there's Bruce, who just got 1 billion feet. I think he's still digging out. So again, depends on where you are. Some parts of the country didn't get as much. Other parts got as much, if not more.
Well, because of that warm winter messed with a lot of things. Like we had flowers that were starting to bloom in January.
Yep.
We have trees that have already flowered and the flowers are already falling off again. And you guys are having bears wake up early. Because of how warm it's been, right? Like nature is confused. It's like, what is going on, dude? So do you have any bears around where you live? Have they
no, because I'm in a big urban.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if they would maybe come into those areas at all.
No, they're strictly more you got to go 2, 3, 4 hours north.
I told you in the pre-show we've had reports of coyotes around lately because they're doing a lot of construction here. They're finishing an outer loop of a beltway that goes around Raleigh. It goes right behind where my house is. I can't see it, I can't hear it, but it's just like maybe 2 miles away. And because of all that construction, I mean, the animals are just. We were outside. Was it last night or was it Friday night? And the fire trucks went by because they had to go out and respond to something. And then all of a sudden, all you heard was howling from all of the coyotes that were in the woods. So it was crazy.
Yeah, where I used to live, over the last couple of years, there's been a lot more sightings. And it's like, well, because there used to be this big forest and you chopped it all down because you're building houses and condos and crap there. So we're also like, you tore up their whole habitat.
Took their home, they got to find a new one.
Right? So now they're just walking down the street. So yeah,
we have deer in like our neighbors' yards. Like every night when we come home, we've got rabbits in our backyard. We've got hawks that fly around. Carly and I actually found a bald eagle when we were out at Zach's hockey game one time. So I took video of like this bald eagle chasing all these birds and stuff. Like it's cool when you see it. It's abnormal to see it in my area the way that it is, and it's because they're tearing everything up, you know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
sad,
Yep.
but this story is interesting just because it really has felt like a warm winter. Like it just doesn't feel like we had a winter season. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Yep. No, you're completely right. Because last year was my first year, and I didn't hear, and we didn't, and I lived in a townhouse condo before, so they shoveled the snow. So I, never bothered getting a snowblower because it was just like, well, it's the first year, let's just see. And
Right.
I was out there, many days. I was out there 2 or 3 times, just doing another few layers. So I didn't have this much. I'd have little, and then the couple of big storms, the plow came by and buried the driveway. So I had to dig out the driveway and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. Well,
plus
good luck in bear season, Jeff. I hope you don't go too far from the house.
I will not be around where the bears are. Even where our cottage used to be, I went up in the middle of the winter because I wanted to check the roof and the snow on the roof and this and that. And you can see deer prints. And the one day I was there, I saw several deer roaming around. So, and there was also a big forest back there. So yeah, there's lots of forests and trees and wooded areas. Yeah, but they don't come this far south. They're a lot more north.
I would find them if I went a little bit west towards the mountains, but they're not here where I am.
Right.
At least I don't think they are. So
right.
maybe a mountain lion. A mountain lion might be, or like a bobcat. I think I've heard of some bobcats. All right, let's get into some Did You Hear About? This first one up is no picture or anything to kind of sell it, but Don Lemon, CNN anchor, was suspended or lost his job. I don't know how to spin that, but then they've brought him back recently.
Nope.
No, they haven't brought him back recently.
Okay, they have.
So
well.
I thought they had him back on recently.
They had him for a segment discussing this.
Okay, all right.
He's not back doing a show. He was let go for various reasons. Yeah, and like him and like some of the others. What do people do when they lose their jobs? They want to do something. They just make a podcast. So he's going to make a podcast. Great. And Elon reached out and said, "Hey, why don't you do it on X?" He's free to do it elsewhere, which he was, but the agreement was it would premiere on X, and I don't know if I have this 100% correct, but let's just say on Sunday. So Sunday, the new episode of the Don Lemon Show will appear on X, right? Mr. Beast posted a video, right, on here. He wants to get into more long-form content on here. So, he wanted to do that. And as part of that, they asked and said, well, if we're going to do this, would you like to be our first guest? Could you be our first guest so we could interview you? And he said, sure. And so the agreement was the show would premiere on X. Let's call it today, Sunday, because I think that's what it is. And then it would be available elsewhere, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you consume shows, Monday or Tuesday or whatever it would else. Right? So that was fine. And so the other day, I guess the interview happened. I don't know when the actual interview happened. And then they decided.
He started attacking Elon a little bit in the interview.
Well, he was asking questions that Elon did not like about different things.
But he kept driving on because Elon wouldn't give him the answer he was looking for. He would just very quickly keep driving on that.
Again, I didn't watch it. I guess it premiered today. I didn't watch it. I just saw the different clips. And anyways, the other day, they came out and said that we're canceling the contract that we had with him. Elon said, no, you're done. We don't want any part of you. You can still do it on X. You can still, do whatever you want, but we're not going to pay you. We're not going to be financially responsible, blah, blah, blah. This is their tweet. This is what they had said. So then, of course, he cried foul. He went back on CNN to do an interview where they cut out segments. Again, didn't watch the whole thing. So again, small out of context clips that you probably saw just like I did. I watched the interview he did on CNN where he tried to talk about
they want to get circulated.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's it.
Well, there's some rumors going around that part of the negotiation to have the show come over on X, or some of the demand to come over to X, was that Don wanted like a cyber truck. He wanted like a private jet to Las Vegas with like massages and stuff. He wanted like X amount of money. He wanted X amount of stake in X. And and the rumors are saying that, right? Allegedly. That's why they were saying no.
I didn't hear that.
Again,
I didn't
allegedly.
Hear that, so. Yeah, no, I didn't hear any of that.
I think the Tucker Carlson thing, you think Tucker Carlson, you think he was with Fox News. You think Don Lemon, you think that he was with CNN. Mm-hmm. And I think that what Elon, again, I'm no Elon expert or anything, but it looks to me from the outside, he's got this kind of right-wingish guy from Fox, and now he's going to have like this left-wingish guy. These two big names, these two mm-hmm. big shows. That way you can't mm-hmm. say that X is just right, or you can't say that X is just mm-hmm. left. I want everybody to have their opinions put mm-hmm. up here and out here, and just mm-hmm. let it be debate. Let it be conversation, right? I think that's the way he's trying to spin it, but there's still, mm-hmm. There's just so many little circles, Jeff, of mm-hmm. Of like the celebrity circles, and like mm-hmm. who's using this app, why, mm-hmm. what we're going to say bad about this one, right? Like it's just very, mm-hmm. I don't know. All the algorithms, whatever you want to talk about, it's just you're not seeing necessarily the content you should be seeing every time you open up one of these devices, right? So
I don't know. I think I've said this before, and I've pretty much fine-tuned it. And I see, because people will say, "Oh,
you spend a lot of times going through and catering your system, though."
I do. I have it fine-tuned to see the stuff I want. Because you've often said, "Oh, did you see this?" No. And then people are like, "Oh, it's all full of hate speech." And did you see that? No. I have it curated, and I have it, I see a lot of sports. I see a lot of gaming. I see a lot of business. I see a lot of, right? I don't see all this other nonsense because I've curated it out. I got lists. I've used the tools they gave me.
Wait a second. When you open up X, the first tweet that you see is not some guy that's asking girls to drop booty pictures into the comments. You don't see, that's not the first thing you see? Then what the hell am I doing on my X? Because that's the first thing that pops up in mine.
No, if I was to open up X right now, let's see, what's the first thing that I see here? Hang on, I got to refresh here. The first tweet I see here is about the UFL. It's a retweet from the UFL and something from men's basketball. Amanda talking about the Big East and some college football stuff. There's an ad. The Action Network, big fans of the Action Network. They're a betting network. Again, it's all basketball. Here's a Temu ad. Hang on, it went to night mode.
It's Temu. It's Temu. That's what they said in the commercial. Temu.
So now there's something from Bloomberg TV. Again, I got them. It happens to be about Vlad, but that's just Bloomberg.
I didn't realize we were going to get into a 5-minute discussion about what's on your timeline.
Fox Business, because it's business related. Another ad. Amanda again. God. Front Office Sports. Twitch Tech Podcast. 2 back-to-back tweets from them. Another ad. Ink.
Oh, Purple Haze has done what you mentioned. Said it helps a lot.
I actually changed my X like Jeff meant. Now I see a few things and it helps. Even before, like everyone be saying, "Oh, it's full of hate and it's full of this," and I hardly still use the thing. I know.
I'm supposed to let Jeff know that he's right. You know the rules of the game.
I message her all the time. It takes days.
We're not supposed to tell him he's right or that he does a good job. Okay.
Oh, here's one from my friend Josh Pate. GDC, over 100 game tests.
Jeff, I get all sorts of Cowboys posts. Oh my god. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Yeah, Purple Haze gets a lot of Canadian Dallas Cowboy tweets.
Oh yeah, that's right. She did say that.
Purple Haze gets a lot of Canadian. I just want to take this opportunity. I'm just going to go full screen here. Elon, if you would like to, we can come to an agreement, Elon, where we will do the show live for a fee on X, and then we'll publish it out later in the week. So, Elon, get your people to call my people, and we'll come up, and we will come up to something, and I bet you we can come. It'll be nicer than Don Lemon. I will be nicer to you than Don Lemon was when I interview you.
If that's not a businessman for you, ladies and gents, I don't know what is.
I'll clip that and send it to him.
Well done, Jeff. More to come on this, but Elon has been saying for a long time that he really wants to push videos and streaming into the platform, yada yada. So we'll. I think it would be a disservice for Don Lemon to not put his show there, because I think that he actually would see good revenue. I think that he would get his side of the fence there, but. I do believe that a lot of people that would listen to Don Lemon probably have already left X.
Probably.
Might not matter.
Might not.
Here you go, Jeff. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection has been railed by bad reviews. People calling it one of the worst launches of all time.
Yep. Here's another game, more server issues. Apparently, 64-player servers. They had 3 of them for 10,000 players. Allegedly.
Wow.
However, now that being said, I did watch. There was a guy streaming. I've watched him before. He only does stuff on Switch. He was playing it with. He had some issues. He said he openly. No, he did. He said there was some glitches. There was some issues. He did have some matchmaking challenges during his stream, but it didn't seem to be as bad as. And I guess maybe the player base on Switch would be less than the others.
Let me ask you this: with the knowledge that you have, I was looking through an article about this. I'm a comment chaser. When I see these articles, I'll lay in bed for a damn hour reading comments from one story. I don't know if anybody else has that problem or not, but I remember somebody saying, like, how is this game file so big for a game that's this old?
64 gig on PC.
Yeah,
maybe yeah. I should have fact checked that with Paul, because I think
and
Paul
was the remastering that. Was it that different?
No, well, I only watched that one guy on Steam. It looked exactly. If you didn't tell me he was
so
playing
why
it
the big file
if you didn't tell me he was playing it on a Switch, I would have thought it was my PlayStation 2 game. Looked exactly like the PlayStation 2 games that I've played.
So I just thought that comment was interesting, that somebody had mentioned like the file size, being like, because that's what it was. I downloaded 64 files of this piece of shit and I haven't even been able to play it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Interesting. Crow has a comment there. That's why he doesn't trust new games. He's giving them time to bake from now on. Seeing more and more and more the launch of games, like the immediate rush to get that first patch out. There's more pressure to get the first patch out than there is to get the game launched. Because they're launching games that aren't complete, and then they're listening to everybody bitch about it, and they're given such a short window to get a patch out.
Now, that being said, we played Enshrouded. Very little server issues that I remember when we played Enshrouded. Me, him, Bruce, Paul. I don't remember
what the challenge is between a remaster and just like making a game, right?
I don't know what they remastered, because and again, I have to check with Paul. I didn't watch any other streams. I just happened to one night.
Well, and I guess I keep saying remastered. They don't call it a remastered, but I would imagine it. I guess reported would be a better term, right?
Yeah. So I watched this one guy play it on Switch, and if you had told me it was on Switch, I would have thought he was playing the PlayStation 2 version. So I don't think they remastered it. I don't know why it was so big.
Yeah.
And it's not. And apparently, it's not crossplay.
Yeah, no, not crossplay.
So,
you know, a game. There's been one game that's never been crossplay. And now they're coming out with another movie. Did you see the movie?
I did. Big O Mac and I.
Oh, you guys went to the drive-in, didn't you?
We went to the drive-in.
That's right. What did you like it?
I did.
I thought it was good too.
I did.
A couple of parts I was like, you know, I can see why you did it, but I liked it. It was good. So April 3rd, 2026.
Yeah. Apparently.
We'll see where the story is going to take us now. Interesting. Is it going to be Chris Pratt again, or is it going to be new characters?
I don't know.
Or new voices. I mean,
I'm not going to say the name because apparently I say it wrong. Apparently I say the last name incorrectly.
Oh. What's the first name?
So apparently I say it wrong. I'm not going to say it. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I get yelled at because I keep saying it wrong.
All right. I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you know about Starship?
I do. That's why I said.
All right.
That's why Elon can come on. I'll come on our. We'll do our show with Elon. I'll interview Elon, and it'll be very pro Elon. It'll be very.
I think that would be pretty epic to have Elon here. I don't think that Elon is going to have the time for you and me, Jeff. But if he does, I'm glad to have a conversation.
There is. No offense to Elon. Well, I guess if I had to, there are two people I'd love to interview. There's one A and one B, and they're both right up. Yeah, they're both right up there.
Who is that?
You're Elon is one. I'm not going to tell you. Oh, not going to tell you until I can actually get it to happen.
Okay, well, you just told me that one of them would be Elon.
One of them would be Elon.
One of the people I would want to interview is Tom Morello. Okay. If you don't know who Tom Morello is, he's the guitarist for Rage Against the Machine.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
One for one. Hey, the Starship had a successful launch. It actually left the atmosphere. It got into space. It actually came back into the atmosphere and had a successful crash landing. So Elon says that it will be on Mars within the next 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
I believe he said 5 years. So
gotta
all things good.
Gotta have goals. Gotta have
goals. Pictures that came in.
I did not, unfortunately.
Okay, these aren't very good images here, but there were a lot of images that were coming in like this, where you could see kind of the heat shield on the side of the craft as it was leaving in orbit, whatever. I don't know all the terms.
Yeah, leaving the orbit.
Elon was posting a lot of pictures, and I swear to God, they look fake. They look fake. It just, how can it look? How can you get that image to me like that? I've never understood why the pictures from space look better than the pictures on the ground.
Why do they look better than those UFO pictures? I've never understood. Why are the UFO pictures all black and white, grainy pieces of crap, yet the James Webb telescope is a gazillion miles away and sends this nice, crisp color picture? I've asked William Piper that question. That is the $1 million question for Mr. Piper.
I read something the other day.
Let's go Mars.
I read something the other day that said the reason that there's water on Mars is because humans used to inhabit it and we destroyed it. And so Adam and Eve were sent in a time capsule to Earth, and the time capsule crash landed, causing that great explosion that killed all of the dinosaurs. And now we're messing up this planet too.
That makes sense.
Does it?
That makes
because
sense.
Dinosaurs were around like 36 million years ago. I don't think Adam and Eve story matches up.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah,
sometimes I'm telling you, man, I'm a comment chaser. So
apparently.
I get carried away. Can't help. And then I look at people's profiles and I look at all the other ridiculous comments that they make.
I went through I read the article, I read the tweet, and very rarely do I look at the comments unless the first comment happens to be
that's
funny.
Where all the humor is.
I know. Well, I let other people find the good humor in the comments, and then Send it to me. Or post that
Well,
later.
we've talked about a couple of these.
Lots for Elon and I to talk about when Elon comes on Coffee Talk. Lots for us to
we got a lot to talk about. We've talked about these before, Jeff, and how these are test flights, right? Like they're expensive test flights, but they're necessary because they are getting, they're getting data. They do this.
Well, there was the one that blew up. Right, there was the one that blew up.
They wanted it to blow up. That's what it was supposed to do.
And they're like, well, A, it blew up farther than they expected it to blow up.
Right.
And B, they got all this great data. It's all about the data. It's all about this great data.
They were hoping it was going to blow up. It just blew up later than they thought, which is why they were excited. So,
Yep.
Hey, we touched on this a little bit earlier. NVIDIA is being sued over copyright infringement because of the AI tech that they have. Now, not necessarily the AI tech, but the language used to help this AI learn. So there's 3 authors. I don't know their names off the top of my head, but there are 3 authors that wrote a language model, and they wrote books about this language model. Apparently, those were used to help the AI tech over at NVIDIA learn without their approval, allegedly. So they are now suing for copyright infringement. Jeff, you know a little thing or two about copyright infringement, especially in the business world. NVIDIA's had quite the rise here. Their
stock has been doing well,
especially this past year. And I mentioned it here a couple shows back. There is a U.S. politician that bought a bunch of shares in NVIDIA before they made the big deal with the government, right? We've seen, what am I trying to say here? The GeForce cards. We've seen this AI tech that NVIDIA has. You've got the cloud gaming service, just other hardware that they have. It has been a massive rise for NVIDIA. So this is some of the first, well, maybe not the first, but this is some you don't hear a lot of negative is where I'm trying to go with that, right? So to hear this little slip here, if it is true, it might open the door to look at some other things, because there's been a very fast rise this past year with those stocks. That's what you mentioned.
Yeah, their stock has gone up a lot. So, well, we'll have to see how this shakes out. We'll leave it up to the lawyers.
Yeah. We had a couple of college coaches that were let go right before their press conferences. This is Kayla Ard. She was the Utah State women's basketball coach. This is the press conference after they lost their final game. And she was, letting everybody know that she had just been let go. She just got told right beforehand. So she's not going to be able to answer their questions about what they're doing for next year, because she's not going to be there to lead them. This led to a lot of people being, upset for the way that she was treated, maybe the way that this was handled. There's other people that are like, it was the perfect time to do it, because what's she supposed to do? Go in there and give a big rah-rah speech and then, be let go the next day? There's questions about how it was handled. What I will say is that when you look at the record for the coach over the 4 years that she has been there, she has a 21% winning percentage. So, sometimes it's got to be performance based. Maybe they felt that was the right time to do it. Let's just close this thing out at this press conference and let's move on.
That is one thing that bugs me about the NFL is, they'll can a guy after a year.
That Black Monday thing.
well, not even that, but just, they'll get, a guy has, San Francisco, before they've got the current guy, they had that other guy in there and he was in there for a year and he didn't do as great and he was gone. And, how many coaches are one and done? And that's why I applaud Detroit. Detroit, wasn't doing great, but they let Dan Campbell do his thing, and now they won the division. They're trending upwards. Can they keep that?
Wait a second. You were just saying a few weeks ago Dan Campbell should be fired.
So, whereas, So one of the things that we should have put on the things we're not going to talk about is the nonsense going on in Chicago. I just can't. But you know what? We don't. That's for other sports shows that air on Tuesday nights to discuss. Yeah.
Stanford also let their coach go. He's been a head coach there for 8 seasons. His name is Jared Haas, and he used to play at Kansas for Roy Williams when Roy Williams was the coach at Kansas. So, he's been around some good leaders. When you watch the press conference that he gave, he was also told right before the press conference he wouldn't be back. And he alluded to use that time to give his appreciation for a lot of things, talk about his character, talk about his mentoring. He holds his players to a high standard. And so he's being held to that same high standard and he accepts that, yada, yada. So just quite interesting how both of these situations they were told right before, you lose the game, you get told in the tunnel, you're being fired. And then you got to go to a press conference, right?
You know what? Hold on. I think that is good, but I think if you're going to do that, you should be told before.
So you think it's okay to say, hey, you're going to be fired, but we'll let you keep coaching out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
You think that's better?
I do.
Okay, well, maybe you're onto something because when that happened to Dan Monson this year, he just led his team to win the damn conference tournament, and now they're in the NCAA tournament because of it. So suck on that, college. But he's been the coach there for a long time, and I forgot to go back and look up how many years, but I want to say it was like 12 or north of 12. Like it's been a while that he's been the coach there. So, sometimes these people have had their shot. They've had their fair shake.
Sure.
But I think it also speaks, especially in this instance, how teams can rally around something, This team was not expected to do well, and they rallied around the fact that their coach was getting fired because they probably appreciate the man, and they went out there and they fought hard for him, and they won the whole damn thing. And that's kind of what happened with NC State. So he was just going to ask about NC State. Wow. So yeah,
he is
now
fired,
the question
still has to coach him in the tournament.
Now the question will be: do they bring him back? Like, what happens if he makes the Final Four?
Well, if they win it all. Imagine if they won it all. And he's like, all right, well, I'm done. Okay, here you go. See ya. Bye.
That is so crazy. You know what, Jeff?
Yep.
You're gonna fire me, but you're gonna let me do like 4 more shows, and on the 4th show, Elon Musk is gonna show up. Because I asked him to be here, and then you're going to be like, no, you can stay. You can stay. No problem.
17.
SPG is in the house. What up? How are you, buddy? 17 seasons. Okay.
I was just saying bad things about SPG.
7. I don't know why I mixed that.
Maybe SPG can explain why there's a North Dakota and a South Dakota, not just make one big Dakota.
Oh yes, that was a big question earlier.
Maybe he can explain that. He is much smarter about the Dakotas than we are.
Yes.
He is our Dakota.
All right. Hey Jeff, we're talking AI, we're talking work, we're talking a lot of this stuff. One of the big controversies was when McDonald's flipped over to those touchscreen menus, right? Because you got all these people that were asking for $15 an hour, and the McDonald's said, F it, we're just going to put all these touch screens in here, and we don't need you. That's fine. We just need you, the people in the back, to make it. Well, I guess they had a problem the other day.
Not in Canada. It was U.S. and a couple other, but not in Canada. We are good.
Several countries were hit by a system error, and folks were not allowed to order their food. And if you have ever been in a McDonald's and somebody can't get what they want, better watch out. Some things are coming flying. So this is one example of why kind of that human touch is still needed in certain things, right? Because somebody was quickly able to open that register, I'm sure, and they get a line going.
There's always a key. They have a key. They have a key system, so you can always, and then they can just bark out the orders or hand write the orders. They can hand write the orders for the kitchen to get it wrong. I went to McDonald's a couple weeks ago, and I wanted a burger without cheese. and I ordered the quarter ham, and it says no cheese, and so I got it, and the guy hands it to me, and I open up and I go, there, look, there's cheese, and he yells to the guy in the back. I go, yeah, yo, come here, yeah, come here. So the guy, and then the manager wasn't standing there, so he takes away, he comes back, and then he gives me the new one. I go, I hate to be picky, but I paid for 2 tomatoes. It's on the bottom. I'm like, oh, okay. And then the manager comes over and goes, is there a problem? I go, no, we're all good here, buddy. It's between me and him. It's all good. You go back and do whatever it is you were managerial and stuff you were doing. It's between me and the kitchen guy. So yeah, good times.
Mm-hmm. I love how these three have like an awesome chat about North and South Dakota going on in the chat.
Yeah.
That probably should have been the topic at the beginning of the show. If I had known it had been that popular, we would ask SPG to come on. Oh man. All right. Talked about a lot of college basketball earlier, but once again,
and Crow has figured out who to blame.
Yeah, he's always figured out.
Crow has figured out who to blame for this Dakota problem. So there you go.
Congratulations again to NC State winning the ACC tournament, and Coach Kevin Keats. Coach Kevin Keats is a wealthier man today than he was yesterday, right?
Your guy.
Or I guess 2 days ago. Yeah. $10,000 plus dollars because they got the NCAA tournament berth. He gets $100,000 because they won the ACC tournament. He gets a $400,000 raise starting next year and an automatic 2-year contract extension through 2030. And like I said earlier, I think it's been like 38 years since NC State won an ACC championship. So this is really big news for the school, the program in the area.
There's pretty cool. What is there? There's 1 or 2. This is their first bid ever. I forget who. Somebody will have to fact check me, but I think there's at least 1, possibly 2 teams in this tournament. It's their first. Is it Drake? Maybe I can. There was 1 or 2 that this is their first ever tournament.
Crow says, "How do we get more NC State news?" I thought I skipped all that. Wolfpack. All right.
He's in charge of the slides. Like it. I used my veto on Wemby. I had a veto. I had my it's like in court. I have my veto.
It's in our contract. We only get 1 story veto per year's worth of episodes.
Yeah, I had my preemptives and I used that on Wemby, and my bad, Crow.
Oh, yes. I didn't know what this was. Jeff had to explain it to me earlier, but how do you say it? How do you pronounce it, Jeff? Is it Loblaw or Loblaw?
Loblaws.
Loblaw. Okay. And this is the biggest grocery store chain in Canada?
If they're not, they're up there. Yes.
Okay.
Because they own a bunch of different and again, it all comes back to how do you define the biggest? Is it number of employees? Is it revenue? Is it number of stores? There's the Metro chain, and there's Sobeys, and of course you got your Walmarts. So, but they're up there. They're
They want you to self-checkout and then scan the barcode, confirming that you paid something.
Yes.
Not that you paid everything, but just that you paid something.
Correct.
And then that'll open a metal gate to allow them to leave.
Now, I use the self-checkout, and I've used the people checkout. Depends on the day and my mood. When I use the self-checkout, I always pay something, but my grocery bill is always less. I've gone to the human, and she's like, well, that's $125. And I'm like, no, forget that. I put it all back in the buggy. I go do it myself, and it's $27. So I should have had this queued up beforehand.
Pro Resin.
I should have had that queued up. And
we talked about this already, Crow Resin. You see his comment, Jeff.
You don't have to pay if you never leave.
No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Two up from that. The worst state one.
Oh yeah, last week I complained about the Rose. Now I'm in on where's Kate.
We had a whole Crow Resin talked about this to us all week section earlier, right after or right before the NC State news. So I loved it too because he had that comment in there and he was like, this was a great show except for the stuff about the Royals. It wasn't even 24 hours later. He sent me the first news article.
Fun fact, I have used the Walmart employee lounge, and they're like, you don't work here. I'm like, well, I cash myself out, so I feel like I do. So I cash myself. I do my own scanning and I do my own. So I feel like I do, and I deserve to use this.
Oh my God.
And the best part is that SPG isn't here to ruin my joke, because when I tell them, he's already in on the punchlines. He tried to tell one the other day, and I jumped in. I tried to butt in and jumped in, and Rue Diggs is like, dude, that was cold. I'm like, well, he's always jumping the punchline on my jokes, the bastard. So
what about what SPG says? What if you put a sleeping bag?
I can see Jeff as the angry door greeter.
Yeah, he doesn't have smiley face stickers.
No,
it's like fuck off stickers.
That's
something.
right. What if you bring a sleeping bag and you just graze off of the shelves?
Oh God, are these 24 hours?
Some of them. You know what? The shop, the drugstore that's up the street from us is actually 24 hours. There is very few 24-hour stores, but that one for some reason is.
Interesting. Interesting.
Grunt and a finger. You're not wrong. You're not
wrong.
Talked
about TikTok last week.
We did. They
voted to push through to the next phase of approval, right? So there's a lot of people that are looking into what this proposal says. There's some language in there that's very concerning. I don't remember verbatim what it says, but it points towards the government having the ability to shut down any website really for any reason that they deem is detrimental to them. And so there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of people that are like, what the hell, man? This isn't what you all said that this was about. And so David Sachs here, who you shared his tweet with, he talks about how this is a Trojan horse to control apps and websites. And I've seen a lot of memes where they're showing the Trojan horse going to the gate, and talking about that stuff. This doesn't affect you. This only affects us.
For now. There could be talk of us banning TikTok too. There could be. There has been grumblings of it in our country.
Last week we were talking about how the servers were the big problem, right? Because the data was being housed in another country. Mr. Wonderful, we played that video from him. He was talking about how he would love to buy TikTok and give 20% back to the Chinese as, like a stipend for, hey, this is, great. Let us bring all the servers over here. Let us do all this. And it seemed like it was very much just a TikTok related concern.
I don't know if it was so much the servers, but it's the brainwashing, I think, and they're trying to, but that shit can happen on X, it can happen on Facebook, it can happen on Instagram, it can happen on, not on Threads, because nobody uses Threads.
Mark Zuckerberg got grilled on Capitol Hill about it.
So I don't know. I don't, I'm not sure if it's so much the servers, it's, all the other stuff.
It's interesting, and it begs the question of, your freedom of speech, right? If this is a platform to allow you to be able to speak up and speak out, how could it be controlled like that? And I know there's questions about that with the privacy policies and stuff that they have already, where they can block accounts, and do this and that. But this is on a whole scale of the whole platform. So just interesting that we've heard a lot of things about media and the control and this, but this is like in your face. This is what we're doing. So,
I have to admit, I don't know all of the steps in how your stuff happens. I would have to go back and watch how does a bill become a law from Schoolhouse Rock to reaffirm how all of that works for me. Look, I get to use this the third time.
Yeah, so it passed at the House, and now it has to go to the Senate. So
yeah, I'd have to go back and watch that. So there you go.
There you go. Hey, we actually had less slides today, and
they made data a talking point. Everyone's data is everywhere. It's actually a power grab. There you go.
It's absolutely.
So, I think the best thing would be for Elon to buy it and bring back Vine.
And bring back Vine.
I always thought he would. I always thought he would. The problem. Well, yeah, and the problem that he would have, that everybody agreed, would be the recommendation system, right? Like when you open up TikTok, it shows you the stuff that you want to see. That building a recommendation system is the hardest, right? Just look at YouTube. Everybody thinks they know the YouTube algorithm, but nobody knows the algorithm. Except for a guy named Todd, nobody really understands the YouTube algorithm. And I listen to people talk about, the YouTube algorithm pushing. As soon as they use the word push, you know it automatically. They don't understand algorithms. So algorithms don't push, they pull. But anyways. China does this with the U.S. all the time. There are several U.S. companies that cannot operate in China. Tencent is the middleman for the Chinese video games. Yeah. Can't use. There's a lot of stuff they can't do in China, and so part of that is this. So there you go.
Well, I bumped the slide up here way too soon since we were still talking about the other. But rest in peace to Eric Carmen. You were singing a little tune earlier, Jeff. It went.
Yeah, but then that'll get me. What got us in trouble last week? What did you play?
It was the video of LSU South Carolina fight.
Oh yeah.
Barstool tweet video without sound of a fight.
Every Monday, it's like, okay, what's going to get what's going to get us?
You get demonetized for it.
What's going to get me in trouble this week?
Yeah, probably talking about the Royals.
Yeah, maybe.
I guarantee you.
Maybe.
Well, Eric Carmen is passed at the age of 74. Definitely Hungry Eyes, man. That song. I feel like the thing was played over and over and over in my house. So there you go.
Yep.
All right. That is the news for this week. Now we got 5 guesses coming up. Jeff is giving them to me this week, fresh off of his almost winning Family Feud 5 guesses from last week. He was 3
and I'm glad there's so many people. I'm glad there's so many people in the chat, because this is for everybody. This is one for everybody.
I hope it's St. Patty's Day related, because we got green on for nothing. Oh my gosh, Jeff!
No, I blew it.
Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Coming to you live from Coffee Talk Studios. That's not really what I was going to do.
I'll cut that out.
It's now time for 5 guesses, and Jeff is giving them to me this week.
All right. This is for everybody. This is a question for everybody. Okay. So chat participation is included here.
Should I have the chat up or no?
You can have the chat up.
Oh, okay. Let's put the chat up. I took it away. Here we go. All right.
Okay. So I've got this from our friends at Ranker. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Of anything? Like a meal or like one food? Like if I say spaghetti, that's got noodles and sauce and meat, right? Or am I just supposed to say noodles?
No. No. Spaghetti would be yeah, you don't have to say noodles. All I'm going to have is spaghetti sauce. All I'm going to have is spaghetti sauce.
Just packets of ketchup the rest of my life.
No. Crow President says he doesn't like this question.
Doesn't like it? Okay. Will said Tonka truck.
He said that before they were trying to guess at the end. They were trying to guess the question.
Okay. One food. If I can only eat one food for the rest of my life.
So I have the top answers of what people have on this website have voted for. So,
I'm going to go with bread.
That might be too...
Is that too generic?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I lied. It is number 11.
Sweet.
Sorry, I lied. It's number 11.
I'm going to go with bread because there's so many different things you can do with bread, right? So that's what I'm going with.
All right. What's another one?
Oh, I got to give you more?
Okay, give me 5.
Oh, this is the whole thing. It wasn't 5 different questions. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, this is it.
So like to say fruit would be too vague, right? So like
that would be the number 3 answer.
Oh, is fruit?
Fruit is the number 3 answer.
Wow. All right.
3,500. Oh, hang on. Bread had 3,462 votes, whereas fruit had 3,532 votes. Who the hell are these 35? Remember I said to you, who are these 3,500 people? Yeah. Who the hell's voting fruit?
Where did they do this at? What event? I see Crow and a couple others have some stuff in there. I'm going to go with cheeseburger. Instead of hamburger, I'm going to go with cheeseburger.
Nice. Cheeseburger is number 6 with 7,000. How does it have more votes than fruit? Fruit has 3,500 votes. I don't know. It has cheeseburger at number 6 with 7,000 votes. I don't understand.
Right. How about pizza?
Pizza would be your number 1. 10,000 votes.
Nice.
For pizza.
Nice.
10,000
you can do so much with pizza, right?
Yep.
How about tacos?
Ooh. Tacos is number 5.
Nice. All right.
Crow said hamburger, cheeseburger. You said, but I don't. Hamburger is way down. Hamburger is way down at 24 on this.
And he also had steak in there as well.
Steak is number 8.
Number 8. Okay. I don't know if it would be too generic or not, but what about pasta? Right, because spaghetti, Alfredo, just pasta is number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've got quite a few of them in there. What was number 3 and 4?
That was fruit.
Oh, fruit was 3. What was 4?
Chinese food.
Oh. Okay. Hey, I wanted chicken fried rice for dinner tonight, so I get it. All right.
Here, a lot of times, like New Year's Day and things, will get Chinese food. You know, because there's not a lot of other places open, and that seems to be, Chinese food will get,
I always seem to want Chinese food on Sunday, and our Chinese restaurants are closed on Sundays.
Oh, interesting. Number 5 was tacos. 6 was cheeseburgers. Number 7, chicken.
Oh, okay.
Number 8, steak.
So steak was like 22, but chicken was 7. Okay.
Steak was 8. Hamburger was 24. Number 9, French fries, and number 10, potatoes.
Wow. Yeah,
number 11 is bread, fried chicken, spaghetti, burrito, grilled cheese at 50, nachos, ice cream, mac and cheese, strawberries. I don't know how that's different than fruit, but
did you have soup
lasagna,
in there, like that?
bacon at 21, salad, cheese, hamburgers, chicken wings, chocolate chip cookies. I know that would be a big favorite for spaghetti with meatballs.
When you
mashed
first
potato,
asked me,
chocolate, fried rice. You wanted fried rice?
My first answer was going to be Krispy Kreme donuts.
So here, I'm going to put the
link. I eat
link.
Krispy Kreme donuts every day for the rest of my life.
Put the link in the chat if anybody wants to. Crow says
you can do a lot with potatoes. Mash them, boil them, stick them in a stew, for example. Exactly. I didn't know.
Thai food says
Thai? Huh. When we went to Ireland, we learned a lot about potatoes because of the Great Famine, right? So we learned a lot about potatoes and how important potatoes were to the Irish during those times.
No thigh on this list, Reed. No thigh on this list. But I shared the website that had the list. I don't understand their voting system. I guess maybe some people downvoted. I don't know why cheeseburger has more votes than tacos, and I don't know. I don't understand their voting system.
Do love me some tacos.
Potato chips, pancakes, cheesecake.
I gotta be honest with you. There's not a single thing you said on that list that I probably wouldn't eat. So
chicken, fruit salad.
Whoever I wind up with,
fried
whatever
eggs.
You wanted, we're probably gonna eat good anyway.
Shrimp would kill me. Smoothies.
You're allergic to shrimp, Jeff?
Yeah, shellfish.
Chili,
corn, apples, cake, popcorn. You said apples. So, yeah, it's a very interesting, sort of a diverse kind of little list. But I shared it in the chat if you guys want to. But it was kind
pizza.
of just...
number one answer is pizza.
I don't understand.
My parents got me a pizza oven for my birthday this past year. I love that thing because it's a stone. And so I actually make quesadillas on it as well. And they're awesome. So I love that thing.
Yeah, you could do tacos on it too. You could build it out.
You could, yeah.
Right, build out and slide them in like some of those tacos.
I ditched a grill a while back and went to a flat top. And I love the flat top. It's just that it takes a little bit more care, right? Like you got to spend time like seasoning it and cleaning it, and you can't clean it with soap. Like you got to, do certain things. So. Bye, Crow. Thank you.
But that was a fun little list. I saw something else that used rancor, and I said I don't know rancor, so I was just looking through. At first, I thought it was if you had to have a last meal, what was it be? That in my mind, that's what it was. And it wasn't until I was starting to write the tweet, and I went back and went, "Oh, that was because you may have heard me say, oh, that's not the question. I thought I was asking."
Oh, so that brings up a good point, though. If it was a last meal request, do you know what your last meal request would be? I do know what mine would be.
I do. It would be this is a very specific. Where I used to live was a little restaurant. They used to do it was a little restaurant run by it's called the Chelsea. It was run by this little Korean family, and the wife, Sanju, used to do this amazing prime rib with a nice fresh Yorkshire pudding, or just pudding to the people in Yorkshire.
I know what Yorkshire pudding is.
And she would do a gravy, not an au jus. So whatever she was making, she'd have the stock and whatever, and this nice gravy with some mashed potatoes.
That would be delicious, by the way.
That would be.
I like au jus, but I like gravy, and I can just especially with the Yorkshire pudding and the mashed potatoes. Yes.
Yeah, she would do this gravy on top of it.
Sounds like Thanksgiving at my house.
Nothing wrong, And I don't know. They haven't been since COVID. I don't know how much they've been open. I do follow them on Instagram. Now we've moved away. But
you're gonna need to send them this clip and say, "I'm talking about you."
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a very specific request too, but mine involves 3 different places. Okay. So what I would ask for is I would want breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I want all 3 of those things as my last meal. My breakfast would be a bagel place that's by my parents' house called Hot Bagel. If you're ever in Alexandria, Virginia, stop by Hot Bagel. It is the best bagel you will have, hands down. Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Right.
So I would ask for that, bacon, egg, and cheese.
Sure.
I would ask for the chicken fried rice from the restaurant that is also near my parents' house called House of Dynasty.
And as long as you're not getting electrified on a Sunday, you're good.
Exactly. And well, they're open on Sunday there. Oh. And then there's a restaurant called Sweetwater Tavern. I would get a sirloin and mashed potatoes that has like a mushroom gravy over both. And then they come with these little rolls. They're called Aussie rolls, and they're like little donuts, and they have like this whipped butter that comes with it. Oh my God. That would be my final meal. Just give me all 3 of those, and I am good to go.
Nice.
Jeffy, what are you doing this week? Playing more games, I know.
SPG, Crow, you guys still kicking around? Are we doing Call to Arms tomorrow? It's on the schedule. So Call to Arms tomorrow, hopefully.
I don't know, you won last week. They may not want to do that.
They may just want to quit while we're ahead. Call to Arms, and then Tuesday I've got MLB The Show 24. Nice. Wednesday, I'm not sure yet. I've got it. If you look at the schedule, I put Skull and Bones because I just copied last week, but we may do something else, or I may just play by myself. I haven't decided yet. Not doing anything Thursday. And then Friday, back to some retro gaming.
Cool.
And then Saturday, I've got another sponsored Saturday stream coming up. And then we're back here.
Nice. I like it. Very good. I have a very busy week with sports. We have 3 soccer games this week, 2 of them at home. So I'll be doing a back-to-back announcing on Wednesday and Thursday. We got an away game Monday. My son started high school hockey last week. They won 7
in addition to golf and the golf.
Game. Yeah, he's doing hockey and golf at the same time. So the high school hockey league is a Czech league. And so in the first period, he was behind the goal and didn't have the puck, and some guy came along and gave him a nice little bump, and he wound up in the back of the net.
Nice.
But then he got like 2 or 3 guys back at the end of the game. So I think it took him a little bit to warm up to the fact that you can actually touch people now, because he hasn't played in a Czech league yet. But it was really fun, and it's a great atmosphere.
That's all we have here.
I know.
That's all we got up here.
I get it.
Well, at least we used to.
Even the kids?
I don't know.
Kids?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
They may have gotten rid of that on the younger kids. I don't know.
So yeah, he's got golf practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then he's got a hockey game Saturday night, and then we've got soccer Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So yeah, it's just you know how it is over here, Jeff. Just it's nonstop until June, baby.
I thought you were going to say, you know how it is, Jeff. I'm like, no, my kids are losers and didn't do sports. No. So I really don't. My kids
nonstop until June. So when we get to this part of the show every week, it's probably going to be the same thing out of me. The Holly Springs women's Golden Hawks are undefeated on the season, and so are the Holly Springs Hawks ice hockey team. So there you go, doing good. So outside of that, I
had to squint and look down to see which graph.
Yeah. Hoping to be around at some point, but most likely not, and you'll just see me next Sunday.
Yep.
Wait a second. MLB The Show, is it out for everybody on Game Pass Tuesday? Okay, so I can download it and play Tuesday without buying it. Okay.
You could.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to start my career. So
yeah, we should. Yeah, if you ever got maybe Wednesday. Actually, maybe I'll check with Doc. Maybe that's what I do Wednesday is maybe Doc and I.
You won't see me Wednesday because I'll be at a soccer game.
I know, but maybe that's what I'll do Wednesday is Doc and I can play some MLB. We did that last year. Yeah, I'll have to check with the good doctor. Yeah, nice. We could do. Yeah, nice. or we could do.
SPG said he was down for Call of Arms.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. I don't think it takes much to twist Crow Resin's arm.
I'm thinking that you need to get back into the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated game that's on Game Pass now.
I've never played. I have played the original
I thought you played that one.
I did not. I played the original Bikini Bottom on retro streams. I think that is a lie because it was on Stadia, and I think I did a stream. I did a stream where I did both. I played one, and then I went and played exactly the same thing on the rehydrated version. So I think I did. I think it was because it was on Stadia. So I think I did both one stream. I did a special combo stream where I did both games.
I that's what I thought. I thought I remembered that. So.
Yeah. Now that you say that, yes, that's right. Because it was So I did do something special around when it came out.
Okay.
Yeah, as I'm known to do.
Well. Until next time, I hope you have a great week. Happy St. Patrick's Day. If you're out there celebrating St. Patrick's Day, there were a couple of crazy Irish folk in my neighborhood with their Irish flags hanging out front. They were all outside with green and they're just drinking in the street. And I'm like, damn, I didn't know we got down like this on St. Patty's Day around here.
There is a YouTube channel that the camera points at the Templar Bar in Dublin, Ireland. And no matter when you put it on, actually, that's a lie because I've never put it on at night, but you put it on during the day and it looks like it's a closed street. So, and there's always people. Put it on today. It was just packed, wall-to-wall people. And everybody was celebrating. Everybody was pointing and waving to the camera. And, found a few live streams of various Irish things. And then we put on some Rovers and some other fiddly dee. And then there was something from Riverdance. And I said, if it's not Michael Flatley, I'm turning it off. Luckily, it was Michael Flatley. I didn't want... I don't want the fake Riverdance with the new people. I want, if you're going to go Riverdance, like, it's got to be the original Michael Flatley. Maybe I'm dating myself, but it's, who I am. So that was then we were supposed to do some other things. I just never did it. Then I came down and used some of my hacks. I've got my Fortnite hacks down. I get 7 levels a day now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah. Got my Fortnite hacks. I'm 7 levels a day now. 7 levels.
7
I can do 7 levels a day. Yep.
Trying to find something real quick. See if I can.
So there we go. Now I'm going to go upstairs and then I'm going to watch John Oliver.
Here you go, Jeff. This was from our last night in Dublin.
Ooh, were you at the Templar? I should have had you go there. I forgot you were going there. I should have had you. I don't think I knew about the channel then. I could have had you go there, and you could have waved at me from Dublin. Am I showing this?
Go. Let me share this. Yeah. You can leave that up there. I'll put it over
there on the Azus. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. On that one. There you go.
There you go.
So yeah.
There you go.
That was from our last night there. So we got a Irish Nights little river dance show. So as you were talking about Riverdance, that's
doesn't look like Michael Flatley.
It is not Michael Flatley. No, it is not. But
for those people who know Michael Flatley, some younger people in the crowd may not know who that is.
May not. No.
They're Googling Michael Flatley.
Those videos are crazy, man. The way that they stomp around and clog around, and I mean, it's pretty impressive. I would be out of breath after like 30 seconds watching some of just the kicking and they're constantly like turning and moving, and heart rate probably is staying hot doing that. So,
yep, I like it. All right, everybody, thanks for being part of the show. That's why we do this. The show, we want the audience participation.
Yeah, no, I
guess a segment
conversation.
But yep, there we go. All right, I will see all of you tomorrow, somewhere on the internet, somewhere on the X or on Blue Sky or on Mastodon. See ya.